สวัสดีครับคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านผมทอมมี่ธีรธรรมธรรมศรีจากพมรถยนต์ครับวันนี้ครับคุณผู้ชมทอมมี่มาอยู่ที่ Porsche Center Bangkok หรือเรียกง่ายๆครับก็คือสำนักงานใหญ่ของ Porsche ที่ประเทศไทยนั่นเองครับวันนี้ครับคุณผู้ชมทอมมี่จะพาคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านนะครับมาดูแล้วก็มารู้จักกับชุดแต่งครับที่อยู่ด้านหลังของผมครับคือตัว Manthey Racing Performance Kit ครับอันนี้คือจะเป็นชุดแต่งของตัว Porsche สำหรับตัว GT3 นั่นเองครับคือโดยปกติแล้วถ้าเราพูดถึงชุดแต่งคือมันจะเป็นการออกแบบให้ดูสปอร์ตให้ดูเท่มากยิ่งขึ้นแต่อันนี้ก็ใช่ครับแต่ว่าจะมีอีกส่วนหนึ่งก็คือเพิ่มในเรื่องของ performance เพิ่มในเรื่องของสมรรถนะให้เร็วให้แรงให้ดียิ่งขึ้นครับสำหรับตัว Manthey Performance Kit ที่อยู่ด้านหลังของผมนะอันนี้ก็คือจะเป็นชิ้นส่วนต่างๆที่เขาจะใส่เข้าไปในตัวรถ GT3 นะครับทั้งหมดนี้เลยราคาอยู่ที่ประมาณนะครับ2 ล้านบาทนะครับชุดแต่งนี้คุณผู้ชมอาจจะคิดว่ามันใช้สำหรับแค่เรซิ่งหรือว่าการแข่งเท่านั้นแต่ที่จริงไม่ใช่ครับเราสามารถใช้กับชีวิตประจำวันได้ด้วยก็คือขับขี่ปกติทั่วไปอยู่ในเมืองต่างจังหวัดจิปาถะได้หมดเลยครับเพราะว่าเขาเสร็จเขาจูนมาหมดแล้วนั่นเองครับและ Manthey Racing Performance Kit อันนี้เป็นชุดแต่งที่เข้ามาในประเทศไทยเป็นเจ้าแรกใน Southeast Asia อีกด้วยครับเรียกว่า Exclusive จริงๆนะครับในวันนี้นะครับคุณผู้ชมเดี๋ยวผมจะไปสัมภาษณ์นะครับกับคุณ Michael Glassr ครับเขาเป็นคนเยอรมันที่บินมาจากเยอรมันมาที่นี่เลยครับเพื่อให้ข้อมูลต่างๆและเขาก็เป็น Sales เป็น Developer ครับก็คือเป็นฝ่ายขายเป็นนักพัฒนาเป็นคนขับตัว GT3 ที่มีชุดแต่งนี้อยู่แล้วด้วยครับก็คือจะมาสัมภาษณ์ท่านว่าฟีลลิ่งมันเป็นอย่างไรข้อมูลรายละเอียดต่างๆมีอะไรบ้างครับแต่การสัมภาษณ์นี้คือจะเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะครับเพราะว่าท่านเป็นคนเยอรมันก็เดี๋ยวผมจะใส่ซับไตเติลเป็นภาษาไทยด้วยครับแล้วก็เดี๋ยวช่วงท้ายครับเดี๋ยวผมจะมาสรุปให้คุณผู้ชมทุกท่านได้รับทราบกันครับไปชมกันครับ If you want to talk about the Manthey Racing Performance Kit there is no one better to talk to right now than the person next to me Mr. Michael Glassr สวัสดีครับ Hello so I'll call you Michael okay
Yeah.
So before we start I want you to give us a little bit of insight about you your background and your journey that led you to Manthey
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working for Manthey since 2015. I'm in the car business for almost 20 years. And I was always fascinated, by performance-orientated upgrades. I'm not that kind of show and shine guy. And so at Manthey, it's always, everything is based on technique. We're not that good in terms of, marketing, but we always want to show our skills and our performance by, let's say, lap times or feedback from the customer. And I'm in sales, and representing the brand. But I'm always, we are in heavy contact with the developers, with the project, driving the cars, giving feedback in order to, know what we're talking about.
But you said that you're in sales, but you also do a little bit of everything, right? So I heard from your background that you do about motorsports as well, right?
Yeah, but I always tell the guys you can't sell pianos if you don't play them. And therefore, of course, I do some motorsports. So I was happy to do 24-hour race at the Nürburgring sometimes and do some other endurance and sprint series just to keep yourself up and of course, learn and learn.
Oh, okay. So just to get up to speed, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. So what is the Manthey Racing Performance Kit? Like for those that are not sure what it is, can you tell or give us?
It's quite an easy story. The thing is that lots of people think, the kids, they just show another profit center of Manthey. But at the end of the day, the reason is quite simple. In 2017, Porsche did a hot lap with the GT2 RS at the Nürburgring and claimed the fastest lap time for a standard car. And unfortunately, in 2018, our friends from Lamborghini in Italy, they showed up at the Nürburgring and they bet that record by 2 seconds. And so Porsche and we were not happy about that. And so we decided to team up and spice up that GT2 RS in order to claim the record back. And Olaf Manthey, our founder, was the guy who said, of course we're going to do that, but one bullet point of the project has to be that the result, what we are developing, has to be accessible and able to order for an end customer. So it shouldn't be a one-of-one rocket, but it should be a package which is street legal, you can purchase at Porsche, and you have your warranty. So during the R&D process, we already checked for example, how big can the wing be, how wide can the tires are, how low we can get with the car, all that stuff, in order to make it street legal, especially in Germany, you know, you have the TÜV regulations and all that stuff. And this was more or less the reason why we started. And then with the 2RS, which was the first, then we switched most of the components over also to the 3RS. And then, of course, people were asking, is there any other model like the 992 GT3? And so that was just ongoing.
Okay, so the car right behind us here is equipped with the performance kit, correct?
Exactly.
So the performance kit, what does it consist of, like for each part? Can you tell me?
Yeah, the thing was that we didn't want to do it the easiest way or the easier way. Just, you know, when you have a fast lap time of the stock car, then you can either change the driver or put other tires on or increase the power of the car. But we wanted to not do a complete rebuild or cheat on some other specs. We simply wanted to tweak some bits and pieces in order to make it more usable on track. And therefore, we took a look at the suspension, we increased the performance of the brake a little bit, and we tried to balance it via an aerodynamic package. We shaved off some weight due to the lightweight wheel set, and there we are.
So every single part that you just mentioned is like right over there, right?
Exactly.
The Manthey Performance Kit.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard that the time difference if you equip the performance kit is 4.19 seconds, right? So just for your opinion, like if you have to choose between all the parts, like which part has the most impact for this time, in your opinion?
Yeah, so there are more points to lighten up. First of all, the complete package will always be the best one. Not because we earn the most money of it, but it's the package which we created in order to make it, it's politically a little bit tricky, but to make it as easy to drive on track as possible. Lots of people always talk to us and say, how much faster will I be when I put the kit on?
Yes.
And I always tell them it might be the same lap time in worst case, but you do the same lap time more relaxed. And this is our aim because we don't build fast cars, to say like, but we build cars which are as easy to drivable in that purpose of use as possible. Because as you mentioned, the 4.1 seconds,
Yes.
people say it's quite
quite a lot.
expensive and it's not so much time gain, yeah? But the thing is, the 4.1 seconds are driven by Kevin, who is already a factory driver. And Kevin, for example, he doesn't care if the car is jumping, sliding, oversteering, whatever. What we experience is when a factory driver is capable of shaving off 4 seconds, an amateur driver is more or less capable of shaving off 14 seconds, because when you compare the videos of the factory driver even with the stock car, they have to work more in the car to achieve the time compared to our dialed-in car where they look like easy to drive it. And of course, suspension helps to make it move forward. For example, I talked to Thomas Preining, the factory driver who drives for us at DTM, and he was driving the car at a track day, and he said, over curbs, it's almost better than the race car. And we have some other drivers, like Matteo Cairoli was driving the GT2 RS, and he said, the downforce level, how I can just turn in, it's awesome. So every bit increases the performance of the car more, and of course suspension over curbs, aerodynamic package over fast bends, the brakes when you really have to push hard. So it's a summary of all components which we do.
So for what you've just said, I can feel it like it's very, very fast. But you have driven this before, right?
Yeah.
The Manthey. So can you tell me the difference, like equipped with the Manthey Performance Kit and without? What is the feeling like for those like are interested?
Yeah. So, you know, Porsche always has to create a car which is suitable for all purpose of use. Somebody wants to travel to the Alps, somebody uses it every day, somebody uses it on track. So Porsche has to design a car which works anytime. And stepping into a car, of course it works every time. For us, you know, most of our customers, or 99% of our customers, they use the car on track. So what we do, more or less, we settle it more on track, and you can feel with the car, you know, with the different suspension, with different setup in terms of camber values, toe, whatever, with the increased downforce, it's more balanced, especially when you're riding at the limit. And for me also, you know, the limit is accessible easily. You get fast and easy feedback from the car. And we had a customer, for example, he's not a fast driver and he was really struggling about doing it or not. And he was shaving off quite a lot of time after the conversion, but he said he didn't even realize because he just was driving, feeling comfortable in the car, and by feeling comfortable, then you decrease your lap time.
Okay, so if you compare, like, because you're putting here in Bangkok, Thailand, right? So, but Thailand, the streets are not like the best if you compare. Does that have a difference or does that play a major role?
Well, on this kit, for example, it is the first one where we decided to do a comfort setting and a performance setting. You have to dial it on the shock, so there is no button or something, you dial it. And for example, you know, you're quite fast with the car on track. And for example, at the same time last year, I took the car to Le Mans for the 24-hour race because it was the last year we participated and we had to do some long-term testing. So we took the GT3, we put it on comfort and we drove there like 750 kilometers without a problem, you know. So it's for us it's important that as long as a car has number plates on, it has to perform daily as well. If somebody calls us honestly and say, for example, we had that, I have a GT3 Touring and it's too stiff for me with the stock suspension, yeah, can I put yours in and it's getting way more comfortable? We say, no, that's not possible because we don't build a Panamera easy cruiser out of a GT car, you know, but it's still, it feels not harsh and it's quite capable of also doing long-term runs because we also have customers from all over Europe and they have to travel to the Nordschleife, to Spa, to Hockenheim with about like 600 kilometers and you can't build a pure race car when the guys have to travel every day as well.
So you can drive daily or racing up to you, freestyle, right? So for what models are available for this kit or all models that you can use?
So we started with the GT2 RS kit, 991. Then we switched it over to the GT3 RS 991. And this now is our third model. And of course, you know, there are other models we are focusing on. So the next release will be the GT4 RS, where we do a kit. Then we do a kit, or we did one and converted it for the touring. We will have one. And then also the standard GT4 will be a topic. And of course, as lots of you saw already in the last weeks, the GT3 RS was released. And of course, we are also taking a look into that model.
Thailand is the first country in Southeast Asia that you introduced this. Was there a reason behind this or what are your targets?
It was quite interesting because I was here in 2016 talking to Peter Rova because he is an old-term friend of Manthey, and he was like, I would like to offer your products to my customers, but we have a bullet point to focus on, and it has to be Porsche approved. And it took us quite some time, yeah. And once we did the record lap and it was announced in the Porsche Equipment Finder, there was Peter again calling us and said, now we are ready to go and we would like to introduce this in Thailand.
The most important question, how much is this performance kit?
The performance kit, I can only tell you in Germany because always the market decides about the pricing in terms of, you know, import and stuff like that. But customers can check this out in the local Porsche Equipment Finder. It's listed there, and there are also the details listed. For the technical details itself, there is an alternative called Manthey-kit.com, where you can see the details, what is in the kit. But for pricing, you just check out your local Porsche center and ask about the pricing there.
Oh, okay. Are there limited stocks or?
No, there is no limitation. So we produce the kit and we send them to Porsche. So this means if a customer wants to order the kit, he doesn't order at Manthey, he just orders at his local Porsche dealership. And the Porsche dealership orders via PPN. This is the parts order system of Porsche, and it will be shipped out directly from Porsche AG. So Manthey is not involved in the single sale for a Porsche dealership. It's always coming directly from Porsche, and it also has a Porsche part number. What is interesting is if a customer says, I don't want to go flat in with the complete kit, there are single components which can be ordered. So for example, you can order the suspension kit like standalone, you can order the brake pads, you can order the braided lines, but for example, you can't order the aerodynamic package or single components out of it, because first of all, the aero package was designed in the wind tunnel and it only works when every single component is installed. And due to the increase in downforce caused by the aerodynamic package, it's not possible to run it with the standard suspension because the standard suspension can't handle the increased downforce.
So I can order separately. That's what you're saying, right? Suppose if I order today, okay? When do I have to wait long, or when will I?
No, Porsche sent a Bangkok stocks kit, so feel free to swing by your car tomorrow and get it done.
I'll get straight away, right? No problem. So today has been an honor to be able to speak to you today.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you.
I have got a lot of information regarding the Manthey Performance Kit. So thank you very much.
My
ขอบคุณ
pleasure.
ครับ
Thank you.
อันนี้ก็มาสรุปจากคุณ Michael Glassr นะครับที่ท่านได้บอกมาเกี่ยวกับตัว Manthey Racing Performance Kit ก็คือถ้าคุณผู้ชมท่านใดนะครับอยากจะติดชุดนี้นะครับก็สามารถมาติดกันได้เลยนะครับแวะมาที่โชว์รูมของ Porsche ได้เลยครับอันนี้ไม่ต้องรอนะครับก็เข้ามาได้เลยแต่อย่างน้อยก็คือโทรจองคิวกันก่อนนะครับราคาของอันนี้นะครับอยู่ที่2 ล้านบาทนะครับเราสามารถใช้ขับในสนามแข่งต่างๆก็ได้หรือนะครับขับในชีวิตประจำวันก็ได้ครับแต่คือทางคุณ Michael เขาบอกว่าเขาได้เซตพวกช็อคพวกอะไรต่างๆนะครับเพื่อให้รองรับกับการใช้ในชีวิตประจำวันนะครับซึ่งคุณ Michael ก็บอกว่าถ้าเทียบกับตัว GT3 กับการใส่ชุดแต่งกับการไม่ใส่ชุดแต่งครับความเร็วเมื่อใส่ชุดแต่งแล้วอ่ะจะต่างกันอยู่ประมาณ 4.19 วินาทีเลยครับก็ที่ผมบอกไว้ตั้งแต่ต้นคลิปนะครับว่าถ้าเราใส่ตัว performance เนี่ยประสิทธิภาพหรือว่าความเร็วของรถคันนี้มันจะเพิ่มเยอะอยู่พอสมควรเลยนะครับและในอนาคตนะครับหากคุณผู้ชมท่านใดรู้สึกว่าเราชอบแต่เราอยากจะทดลองนะครับก็สามารถทดลองได้นะครับแต่ว่าทางคุณ Michael เขาก็บอกมาว่าถ้าอยากจะทดลองต้องไปที่ประเทศเยอรมันเลยนะครับก็คือที่แทร็กของเขาก็จะมีเซอร์วิสให้หมดเลยมีรถมีอินสตรัคเตอร์คอยตามก็คือความปลอดภัยมั่นใจได้ครับและคุณมีแค่ใบขับขี่เท่านั้นนะครับไม่ต้องมีแบบเซอร์ติฟิเคตอะไรแบบเพื่อรับรองอะไรต่างๆไม่ต้องนะครับก็คือขับได้ปกติทั่วไปเลยนะครับเพื่ออยากจะทดสอบฟีลลิ่งนี้อันนี้ผมก็ว่าดีเหมือนกันนะครับหรือถ้าคุณผู้ชมอยากจะรอแบบอาจจะมีเหตุผลต่างๆที่แบบไม่สามารถไปที่ประเทศเยอรมันนะครับก็ทาง Porsche เขาก็แจ้งมาว่าในอนาคตนะครับอาจจะปลายปีนี้หรือว่าปีหน้านะครับเขาก็จะจัดอีเวนต์จัดกิจกรรมนะครับเพื่อให้ทุกท่านได้ลองชุดแต่งอันนี้ครับให้ดูประสิทธิภาพว่าฟีลลิ่งมันเป็นอย่างไรนะครับแต่อันเนี้ยก็ขอย้ำว่าเขาก็ได้เซตแพ็คปรับให้มันเหมาะกับการใช้ในชีวิตประจำวันนะครับอาจจะไม่ได้ฟีลเรซิ่งแบบโอ้โหเหมือนแบบนั้นซะทีเดียวแต่ถ้าคุณอยากได้ก็ต้องลองสอบถามกันดูว่าจุดประสงค์ที่ผมซื้อชุดแต่งอันเนี้ยตัว Manthey Racing Performance Kit เนี่ยผมอยากจะเอาไปใช้สำหรับอะไรเขาก็อาจจะเซตได้นะครับเพื่อตอบโจทย์ของคุณผู้ชมนั่นเองนะครับหากคุณผู้ชมท่านใดนะครับมีคำถามใดๆเพิ่มเติมนะครับเกี่ยวกับชุดแต่ง Manthey Racing Performance Kit นะครับก็สามารถคอมเมนต์มาได้นะครับแล้วก็ขอขอบคุณคุณผู้ชมทุกท่านที่ติดตามผมทอมมี่ธีรธรรมธรรมศรีขอตัวลาไปก่อนนะครับสวัสดีครับ